My name is Alec Puccio, and today I'm going to be talking to you about climate change. Climate change is a very, very big issue that we face on Earth in the upcoming decades, so it's something very important to talk about and the different solutions we can create in order to slow down its process. There's no way to really stop climate change, but there are ways to slow it down. But today we're going to be talking about the different problems and also solutions to those problems. So the main problem that creates climate change is global warming. And global warming is released through greenhouse gases that slowly heat up the atmosphere that create different things, such as rising sea levels. So in the article Xinhua News Agency, it says, though the glacier melting on the hotter plateau so far has not caused less river flow, but created more water, it has resulted in ice avalanches, floods, and other risks to the region. So this showing that climate change is melting ice glaciers, which is creating flooding and other issues around the world, or around the glaciers per se. So another thing to talk about is also how climate change is going to be affecting the economy and also agriculture. The biggest thing with agriculture has to be water security. And in the article by Sadaf Hasman, a central issue is the rising concern about growing water security relative to demand. Driven by rapid population growth, urbanization, and economic development, climate change will compound the scarcity challenge because higher temperatures will boost rates of evaporation from both soils and water surfaces. And this will in turn increase water requirements and raise demand for cooling water necessary to generate the energy that consumers will demand in response to higher temperatures. So this is basically talking about how because of climate change, not only is agriculture going to be affected, but also water security, which will demand higher need for water, which will also affect the economy. And everyone buying it, it's going to be hard to get access to really cool water. So now that we talked about economy and agriculture together, we can also now talk about what creates the global warming. So in the article in Gale in Context, Global Warming, it said, by the early 20th century, industrialized societies depended on fossil fuels more than ever, due in large part to technologies such as electricity and petroleum-fueled automobiles. By the 1950s, scientists had begun actively monitoring levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Concern arose after finding much higher levels than initially expected. These investigations informed the scientific identification of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, methane, and fluorinated gases. These gases intensify the greenhouse effect, and researchers have linked the rising levels of these gases to human activity. So basically, greenhouse gases are our issue that we have created for the world. So the different uses of automobiles, cars, everything that releases the gases, as well as the way we eat, everything in our daily life that has to do with industrialized society is what is creating these greenhouse gases and is what's heating up the atmosphere. So the only way to stop this is to cut back on using these things. So switching from gasoline cars to electric cars. Stop doing bad eating habits and switching to healthier foods. Small example, but it's a really good example of a way to help climate change. But also another way would be to recycle a little more. Recycling, I know, is a big thing that we preach about, but is a very important thing because pollution is also another factor that leads to these different things. It's an all domino effect. So it's very important that you're switching and trying to be more mindful of the earth in order to slow down this process. Because if we don't slow down this process, we could have very, very bad effects on Earth, such as the rising sea levels. And in the article Gale in Context, Rising Sea Levels, it is said, rising sea levels pose several distinct threats with potential impacts on freshwater supplies, coastal lands and settlements, and vital economic activity for low-lying islands. Continued sea level rise could prove devastating. Scientists predict sea levels will continue rising for centuries due to global warming processes already set in motion, though the extent and impacts far into the future are more difficult to predict. So this basically means that Because of climate change, rising sea levels are occurring, and that means, example, we live in Florida. Florida could be completely underwater in a few decades, just of how quick the rising sea levels are occurring due to glacier melting all around the world. So this is why it's a very important thing if we don't stop it soon, because if we don't stop it soon, we're going to be underwater. And most of our coastal cities like New York or just Florida cities, all these coastal cities are going to be underwater, and this is going to create economic devastation. So we want to be able to prevent that from happening by being more mindful of what we do. So in order to visualize this solution, think about your own daily life. What are the different things that you do in your daily life that you can change to help better the climate? Well, example, your car. Maybe you're not going to get a new car in the next few weeks, but maybe time down the road in the future, you might think about, well, I want to switch to an electric car. They might be expensive now, but they're increasing in popularity and they're creating more of them. So maybe that is a good choice in order to stop climate change. Or example, recycle more. Don't throw things around on the earth and create pollution. Or eat better food. Just better quality food, that don't eat bad foods that create, these problems for the earth. Eat healthier foods, stuff that's natural, that grows from the earth. All these different things are ways you can yourself help climate change. And that is the ways that we can prevent climate change. I hope you guys enjoyed this speech, and I hope we can together as humans on earth living in this place, strive to make it better for ourselves, because the earth will be around a lot longer than we will. So in order to keep the earth healthy, we have to work together as a society, but as humankind, we have to work together. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully we can strive and take a step in the right direction. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your time. I hope to see your guys' speeches as well. Thank you.